Dickhole is a new asshole. Also the best line in the movie. I'm John Rentham with a retro review of House at the End of the Street. Jennifer Lawrence was in the midst of a career surge at this point, doing the Hunger Games movies and a few other movies that she's been really goddamn good in, so why not do a really shitty suspense thriller horror movie that is such a carbon copy of so many other movies. Maybe if you've never seen a horror movie or a suspense movie or literally any movie in your goddamn life, you might have liked this, but no, I fucking hate it, and I'd seen it before. I actually watched it in theaters and then watched it again, like a couple years later when it was released on Blu-ray. I was like, okay, maybe it wasn't that bad. Nah, it was worse. So I decided to watch it on Netflix for Horror Movie Month, and it's actually even fucking worse than I remember. How did nobody guess that the character of Ryan, played by Max Thieriot, I think that's how his name is said, how did nobody guess he was obviously disturbed and a killer and this incredibly disturbed individual that everybody knew was, this kind of person. Everybody knew there was something wrong with the guy, except for Jennifer Lawrence's character, Alyssa. Now also, Elizabeth Shue plays her mom. Elizabeth Shue was 49 years old when this movie was released and looked fucking incredible. Still does look fucking incredible. That's good genetics for you right there. So in this movie, you have Sarah, Elizabeth Shue's character, the mother, and Alyssa, who is played by Jennifer Lawrence, her daughter. They move to a suburban home right next to a house at the end of the street, because otherwise how the fuck would you know where the house is if the title of the movie isn't House at the End of the Street? And it turns out a double murder took place there. There were, two parents got murdered, and it was by the sister of the character Ryan, the sister, Carrie Ann. And Ryan was sent away to live with an aunt, and oh no, he's been all disturbed and everything, but he's back in the house where his parents were murdered. Nobody fucking knows why. People are picking on him. He kind of stays to himself. But he's got a dark secret. But that secret is found out a little bit later, even though you should be able to fucking figure it out, because we find out through some more backstory what actually happened with Ryan and his sister. But yeah, Alyssa doesn't necessarily want to be in this small suburban town. She prefers to be in Chicago. She's kind of at odds with her mother because of a thing that happened with the father a number of years before. And, the mother's been she's kind of a bit of an alcoholic and everything, and always works a lot, and then the dad worked a lot, and it's a fractured relationship. So she's looking to fix damaged people because her parents were damaged people. And she, after some party scene with a boy named Tyler that didn't work out all that well because he tried to assault her, because that's, a really good thing to do. Don't fucking do that at parties, kids, or in general. Don't be fucking dicks to people. No means no, what the fuck. Anyway, so one night, or at least that night, Alyssa ends up getting taken home by Ryan. She starts to fall for him because he's really sweet and he's just misunderstood, sad, lonely, and everything all at the same time. But he keeps to himself. He doesn't really want her in the house too long. It turns out there's Carrie Ann in the basement. He's trapped her in the basement because she murdered the parents, and she's free from the hospital. But he doesn't want her to go to jail or the mental institution or wherever she went. And that's exactly, where the movie falls apart, because it's clearly obvious that this character Ryan is fucking disturbed. And we find out a little bit later that he has been trapping girls pretending to make them Carrie Ann. He needs them to be Carrie Ann because she died in an accident, and he was forced to be Carrie Ann to the parents who were meth addicts and disturbed people, and they blamed him for the death of his sister. And yeah, they tried for a sleepaway camp-like thing, and if you've seen Sleepaway Camp, you know what I'm talking about. Brother and sister. There's a boating accident, and the brother is forced to basically play the sister. Dear God, she's a boy. But the problem is the Sleepaway Camp had, some good suspense about it, and a whopper of an ending. And yeah, okay, maybe it hasn't aged all that well according to some. I disagree, as I still say Sleepaway Camp is fan-fucking-tastic. But this twist, where it's obvious that he is just keeping these girls in, to feed his psychosis, that's really all it comes down to. That's all it fucking is. And when you realize that's all the movie has, and that you find out that, Carrie Ann's in the basement, and she tries to escape, can't imagine why she tried to escape if he's trying to keep her safe. Oh, wait, no, it's an innocent girl, because his psychosis is fucking with his head. And that's pretty much what it is. And that one line, Dick Cole's the new asshole, that's really all, that when that's your best line in a movie, you've got problems. There's also a character, Jillian, Ally McDonald, who really has very pretty eyes and I think should be in more movies. But she plays like the typical friend of Jennifer Lawrence, who she's kind of there, and then they just totally write her out of the fucking movie. Like, she's gone within, like, she doesn't even get killed. She's just gone. They just write her out. They literally just write characters out. They bring them in for a few scenes, and then that's it. Because everything's just like hodgepodge together. It's just, a bunch of like cliches, human centipede together, and that's exactly, what you have left. Absolutely nothing, and nothing but a bunch of like, cliches and twists that you can see coming a mile away. And the mother, knows that Ryan is no good, but trusts the daughter, but then doesn't trust the daughter, just wants to keep her safe. And there's this cop that basically thinks that Ryan's a good kid, even though the cop, if he had done any investigating at all, would have known that there was something wrong. And later, the cop gets killed. Also, being a PG-13 horror movie, you don't really get to see a lot of blood. There isn't really a lot of scary shit. It's not suspenseful. Ryan captures Alyssa, and then she escapes, and he recaptures her, and then she escapes again. Her and the mother tag team to kill him. Usually I like the prospect of a mother-daughter tag team, moving on, but this didn't work in this movie. And this was, pretty goddamn shit, and he ends up institutionalized, and we find out right at the end that he was forced to be Carrie Ann. Even though we should have been able to guess that right there. So so he's pretty fucking shit. In fact, I haven't done this in a while with some notes. So that's what House at the End of the Street gets. You could have cut 20 minutes out of this movie with the slow walking scenes and everything, and repetitive scenes of being captured and everything, and victims being captured and then brought back to the thing. You could have cut 20 minutes out if you just would have stopped padding the film out. This did not need to be an hour and 42 minutes. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.